I worked as a pizza delivery driver during my sophomore year of college. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't even particularly good money, but it was flexible, and I needed something that worked around my class schedule. The shop was in a small town in western Ohio, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where the biggest news of the week is usually whose fence fell down or which kid got caught speeding on Main Street. Quiet, predictable, safe. Or so I thought. I mostly worked closing shifts because they paid a little more, an extra $1.50 an hour, which doesn't sound like much until you're a broke college student surviving on ramen and energy drinks. Closing shifts meant I was usually out delivering until 12:30, sometimes 1 a.m. Most of the late orders were drunk college kids or families with newborns who'd lost track of time. Nothing weird, nothing memorable, until that night. It was a Thursday. I remember because I had an exam the next morning and I was already regretting picking up the shift. Around 12:20 a.m., an order came in. Large cheese pizza, breadsticks, cash payment, no tip listed. The address was on the edge of town. I didn't recognize the street name. I'd been delivering in this town for almost 8 months at that point, and I thought I knew every road, every shortcut, every weird little cul-de-sac. But this one, never heard of it. I plugged it into GPS. It came up without hesitation. About a 12-minute drive. I grabbed the order, clocked out for the delivery, and headed out. The first few minutes were normal, familiar roads, familiar houses, the glow of porch lights and the flicker of TVs through living room windows. But the further I drove, the fewer streetlights there were. Houses became spaced farther apart. Then there were no houses at all. Just open fields and tree lines stretching into the darkness. I started second-guessing myself. Maybe I'd typed the address wrong. Maybe GPS was glitching. But then I saw the street sign. I turned onto the road and immediately something felt wrong. I couldn't explain it at first. It wasn't one thing, it was everything. The air felt heavier, the darkness felt thicker. My headlights seemed dimmer, like the road was swallowing the light. And the houses, there were houses on both sides of the street. Maybe 6 or 7 total, spaced unevenly, like they'd been dropped there by accident. But none of them had windows facing the road. Not boarded up, not broken, not covered. Just none. Long, blank walls, almost like storage buildings pretending to be homes. I slowed down, checking each one as I passed. No windows, no windows. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. The address I was delivering to was the last house on the street. I pulled into the driveway and parked. My headlights lit up the front of the house. 2 stories, painted white. A single porch light, glowing yellow above the door. No windows. I sat in my car for a moment, engine running, trying to convince myself this was normal. Maybe it was some kind of architectural thing. Maybe the windows were on the back of the house. Maybe I was overthinking it. But my gut was screaming at me to leave. I didn't listen. I grabbed the pizza and stepped out of the car. The air was cold, silent, no crickets, no wind, nothing. I walked up to the porch. My footsteps sounded too loud on the wooden steps. I knocked. Almost immediately, the door opened. A man stood there. Maybe mid-40s, tall, thin. His face was expressionless. He didn't smile. He didn't look surprised to see me. He looked like he'd been standing right behind that door waiting. "You're late," he said. I checked the receipt. I wasn't. I was actually 3 minutes early. But something told me not to argue. "Sorry about that," I said. "That'll be $14.50. He stared at me for a few seconds. His eyes didn't blink, didn't move, just stared. Then he stepped back inside without saying anything. I stood there awkwardly, holding the pizza, the warmth seeping through the box into my hands. I could see into the house now. It was empty. No furniture, no decorations, no photos on the walls, no rugs on the floor, no lights on anywhere except the hallway directly behind him. Just bare walls and hardwood floors stretching into darkness. He came back and handed me cash. Exact change. No tip. As I handed him the food, I glanced past him one more time, trying to see deeper into the house. Nothing, just emptiness. As he took the pizza, he leaned in slightly. His breath smelled like nothing. Not food, not toothpaste. Not anything, he whispered very quietly. Don't come back here. The door closed. I stood on the porch for a second, frozen. Then I turned around and walked back to my car. I didn't run. I wanted to. But something told me not to. I got in, started the engine, and pulled out of the driveway. As I reached the end of the street, I looked in my rear view mirror. The porch light turned off. And every light on the street, every single one, turned off with it at the exact same time. I didn't stop driving until I was back at the shop. I told my manager about the address, told him something was off. He pulled it up in the system. That house, they had never placed an order before. No record of the phone number, no record of the address. Nothing. 2 weeks later, I was looking at the delivery map, and I noticed something. The street was renamed. The house was gone. I drove past where it used to be once just to see. There was nothing there, just an empty field, like it had never existed. This happened when I was delivering pizzas in Southern California. I was 23, saving up to move to a bigger city, working evenings at a chain pizza place near the coast. The job was fine, boring, mostly. Families ordering dinner, college kids throwing parties, drunk people craving carbs at 11 p.m. I worked 5 nights a week, usually between 6 p.m. and midnight. Most deliveries blurred together. I couldn't tell you details about 99% of them, but this one I remember. It was a Tuesday night, slow, cloudy, the kind of night where you spend more time waiting than driving. Around 10:30 p.m., an order came in. 1 large pepperoni, 1 order of wings, cash. The address was an apartment complex about 10 minutes away. I delivered there before, big building, maybe 80 units, nothing special. I grabbed the order and headed out. The guy who answered the door was maybe late 20s, average height, brown hair, clean shaven, wearing a gray hoodie and jeans. Completely normal. He smiled, paid in cash, took the food. Thanks, man, he said. No problem. Have a good night. That was it. Normal delivery, normal interaction. I didn't think twice about it. About 20 minutes later, I was back at the shop, scrolling through my phone when another order popped up. Same apartment complex, different unit. I grabbed it and headed out. When I got there, I walked up to the door and knocked. It opened almost immediately. Same guy, same gray hoodie, same jeans, same face, same smile. I forgot to add something earlier, he said. I handed him the pizza. He paid. Cash again. No tip again. I didn't say anything, just nodded and left. On my way back to the shop, I felt uneasy. I told myself it was a coincidence. Maybe he was visiting someone else in the building. Maybe he ordered for a friend. People do weird things. It doesn't mean anything. But I couldn't shake the feeling. An hour later, another order came in. Same apartment complex. Different unit again. 3rd floor this time. My stomach tightened. I told my manager I didn't feel comfortable taking it. He looked at me like I was being dramatic. We're short-staffed, he said. Just finish the run and head home. I'll close up. I didn't want to argue. I grabbed the order and left. When I arrived, the hallway was empty, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. That weird apartment smell like cleaning products and carpet and something vaguely stale. I walked to the door and knocked. No answer. I knocked again. Silence. Then the door opened. Slowly, creaking. Same guy, same face, same hoodie, same jeans. But this time he didn't smile. He just looked at me. His eyes were different, darker, more focused. I like seeing you, he said. My stomach dropped. I didn't respond. I handed him the pizza, turned around, and walked away as fast as I could without running. I heard him say something behind me, but I didn't look back. I got in my car and drove straight home. Didn't go back to the shop. Didn't clock out properly, didn't care. When I got to my apartment, I parked in my usual spot and sat in my car for a minute, trying to calm down. My hands were shaking, my heart was pounding. I told myself I was overreacting. It was just a weird guy. Weird guys exist. It doesn't mean anything. That's when I noticed headlights in my rear view mirror. A car pulled into the lot behind me and stopped. I watched in the mirror. The driver's side door didn't open. The car just sat there. Engine running, headlights on. I couldn't see the driver clearly, but I knew it was him. Same car, same shape behind the wheel, but different clothes. I could see that much. A dark jacket instead of the hoodie. He didn't get out, just sat there, watching. I stayed in my car for almost 10 minutes. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just watched the mirror. Finally, he reversed out of the lot and drove away. I ran inside and locked every door, every window. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I checked my phone. I had a notification from the pizza app. A new order history entry, an order placed at 3:12 a.m. from my address, my name, my apartment number, my phone number. I never gave him any of that information. I quit that job the same day. I moved 2 weeks later. I still don't know how he found me. I was delivering pizza in rural Tennessee. Small town, dirt roads, the kind of place where people wave at strangers and leave their doors unlocked. I'd been working at the local pizza shop for about 6 months, knew most of the regulars by name, knew which houses had dogs, which ones tipped well, which ones to avoid after dark. But this delivery wasn't to any of those places. It was to a trailer park about 15 minutes outside of town. A place I'd heard about but never actually been to. The order came in just after midnight. 1 medium pizza, 1 2-liter soda, cash. The address was correct. GPS worked fine. I drove out there past the town limits, past the last street light, down a gravel road lined with trees. The trailer park was small, maybe 20 trailers total scattered unevenly across a dirt lot. Most of them were dark. A few had porch lights on, but no signs of life. I found the address and pulled up. The trailer was old, rusted edges, faded paint, a small wooden porch with steps that looked like they might collapse, and the front door was already open. Not cracked, not slightly ajar. Wide open, just darkness beyond. That alone made me uncomfortable. I sat in my car for a moment, debating whether to even get out. My gut was telling me something was wrong. But I needed the money, and I'd already driven all the way out there. I grabbed the pizza and stepped out. The air smelled like rain and something else. Something metallic. I stood at the bottom of the steps and called out, "Pizza delivery." Silence. Then a voice from inside. A woman's voice. Soft. Shaky. "Come in." I didn't move. Every instinct I had was screaming at me. "I can't enter the residence, ma'am," I said. "Can you come to the door?" There was a long pause. Then footsteps. Slow. Heavy. The door opened wider. A woman appeared in the doorway, maybe mid-30s. Blonde hair, messy. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. She'd been crying. Behind her, deeper in the trailer, I could hear a man's voice, angry, yelling something I couldn't make out. She looked at me with wide, desperate eyes, and she whispered, "Please don't leave." I froze. The man shouted her name, loud, aggressive. She flinched. I could see bruises on her arms now, fresh ones. The man appeared behind her, bigger than I expected, red face, clenched fists. He stared at me. "You're not calling anyone," he said. It wasn't a threat, it was a statement, like he was telling me what was going to happen. I dropped the pizza, and I ran. I got in my car and drove straight to the police station. I told them everything, the address, the woman, the man, the bruises. They sent a car out that night. The trailer was empty when they arrived. No furniture, no belongings. No sign anyone had lived there in months. The woman was never found. I think about her sometimes, about her eyes, about her voice. "Please don't leave." I left. And I don't know what happened after that. This happened in Michigan during winter. January. Snow everywhere. Roads icy. Wind cutting through everything. I was working at a small pizza shop near campus. Business was slow. Nobody wanted to leave their house in that weather, and even fewer wanted to order delivery. Most nights I'd only make 3 or 4 runs, barely worth the gas money. One night, right before closing, an order came in. 1 small pizza, 1 soda, cash. The address was less than 5 minutes away. A residential street I'd delivered to before. My manager looked at me. Last one of the night. You good? I almost said no. I was tired, cold, ready to go home, but I nodded and grabbed the order. The drive was short, the streets were empty, snow piled on both sides of the road like walls. When I arrived, the house was completely dark. No porch light, no cars in the driveway, no footprints in the snow leading to the door. I sat in my car for a moment, engine running, heater blasting. Something felt off, but I told myself I was being paranoid. It was late. People forget to turn on porch lights. It happens. I grabbed the pizza and walked up to the door. My footsteps crunched in the snow. The sound echoed in the silence. I knocked. Nothing. I knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing. I was about to leave when I heard it. A voice, small, high-pitched, a child's voice. Can you leave it? It came from behind the door, muffled, quiet. I hesitated. Sure, I said. Do you have the money? Silence, then, just leave it, please. Something in the voice made me stop. It didn't sound right, not scared exactly, but wrong, like the words were being read from a script. I set the pizza down on the porch. As I turned to leave, I heard another voice behind the door, an adult voice, deep, male, just one word, don't. The door slammed shut, hard, loud. I ran. I didn't look back. I got in my car and drove. When I was about a mile away, my phone buzzed. A notification from the app. The order was canceled. I checked the address in the system. It didn't exist anymore. The street was real. The house number wasn't. I never found out who lived there. I never found out who answered the door. I never went back. Pizza delivery seems harmless until it isn't. These aren't stories about monsters or ghosts. They're stories about people, real places, real moments where something felt off. And listening to that feeling may have saved a life. If this video made you uncomfortable, good. That means you're paying attention. Next time you order delivery, think about the person bringing you that food. They're walking up to your door, alone in the dark, trusting that you're not the one who's waiting. I'm Jacob. Stay safe. Trust your instincts. See you in the next one.